Supreme Rebirth Chapter 1, Reborn. Boss, come on. A voice awakened Chen Lei in contemplation. He looked up and found that he was now standing in the Chen family performance martial arts field. A young and energetic young man and woman wearing black exercise clothes was under the supervision of teaching. Kicking his fists and kicking, exhaling, and sweating like practicing the Chen family's basic martial arts. Chen Lei had a dreamlike feeling. The one who talked to him just now was his best brother Chen Fan in his youth. However, after more than 10 years, Chen Fan was caught by a monster in order to protect Chen Lei. He lost his life and no bones were found. It was from then on that Chen Lei awakened his strongest physique in the heavy rain and weather, embarked on the martial arts journey, advanced all the way, achieved the name of Emperor Wudi, and became the title Lei Emperor, but Chen Fan became permanent stunned. I remember that I was crossing the strongest Jianjie at Tianshan Peak. I only remembered that the last round of the strongest Jianjie was like a sea of water, which drowned me instantly. Did I fail the crossing, but the crossing failed, I should be the spirit it's right to die, but it doesn't look like a successful robbery. If you succeed, you should be of gods. How can you return to your youth? Chen Lei only felt that there was a mass of paste in his head. Even if he was a generation of emperors, he had rich experience and extensive knowledge, but he didn't know how to explain his current situation. I am Chen Lei, a young man who entered the gate of martial arts when he was nearly 30 years old. Since then, he has made great progress and achieved a generation of Emperor Wu. He has been honored by later generations as Lei Emperor. Only by incorporating a small amount of lightning energy can we consolidate the true energy and step into the door of martial arts. It can be said that it has been a waste of more than 10 years. If I can lay a solid foundation at the most critical time, how can there be in life so many regrets and unwillingness? Can't figure out why, Chen Lei simply stopped thinking about it. Since heaven has given him a chance to live again, then he must firmly grasp the regrets of the previous life. This life must make up for it. The enemies of the previous life, this life. It must be completely crushed. The red face that died prematurely in the previous life, he will change her miserable destiny in this life. In this life, he will hold the fate firmly in his own hands and become a god. Chen Lei, what are you doing? Why don't you continue to practice, although you can't consolidate your authenticity in the assessment after 5 days, but you must practice harder. My Chen family is a miscellaneous disciple and don't waste. The teacher is talking about Chen Lianshan, who is in his 40s this year, and has 5 layers of true spirit. He is responsible for teaching the young disciples of the Chen family. Chen Lianshan has a weird temperament and is very gentle with talented disciples. Poor disciples are extremely strict, and can even be said to be severe, and are often subjected to brutal corporal punishment. Among the younger generation of disciples, the less talented disciples see Chen Lianshan, which can be said to be like a mouse seeing a cat. At this point, Chen Lianshan stood in front of Chen Lei, and shot 2 sharp eyes in his eyes, staring fiercely at Chen Lei. Chen Lei, you are 15 years old this year. After 5 days, you will be assessed by the family. The family stipulates that those who have not reached the real state at the age of 15 will be decentralized to the shops around the family, starting from the lowest level handyman. Once was the premier genius of the Chen family, but now that you re-broken, it is impossible to reach the true state of mind. If you lose your diligence, what do you rely on to live in the future? Looking at Chen Lianshan, who harshly reprimanded himself in front of him, Chen Lei was warm in his heart. Although Chen Lianshan was severe, Chen Lei knew that Chen Lianshan was really thinking about these poorly qualified disciples. Now he is stricter and will face the rivers and lakes only when the gangsters and monsters in the wild have a life-saving cost. Although this cost is a pitiful amount, Chen Lianshan later died to protect a young disciple of the Chen family. In the hands of bandits. What Chen teaches is that Chen Lei has been taught, and I will definitely work hard. Facing this seemingly rigorous and respectful teaching, Chen Lei said. Okay, in this case, after the training is over, you have to practice another 30 kilometers of weight carrying. Don't be lazy. Chen Lianshan saw that Chen Lei was still able to correct his mistakes, his face was slightly slower, and he said seriously. Yes. Chen Lei nodded and walked 30 kilometers in the mountains. Such a subject is definitely a kind of torture for those disciples who are at the 9th floor of Wuji. It is also a huge burden for Chenlei, but Chenlei there is no bargaining sentence, because he knows that this kind of heavy-duty running training really has great benefits for the warriors in Wuji period. Waste is waste. No matter how hard it is, it will not be the same in the end. It is impossible to break through the real atmosphere, and it can only become the cheapest miscellaneous disciple, just like a pig and a dog. At this moment, a harsh voice sounded. Chenlei looked towards the source of the sound, and found that a teenager was looking at him with cold eyes. What he said just now is this teenager. Chenlei is also very familiar with this teenager, but he has deep-seated hatred. This young man, called Chening, has extraordinary talents. He is also 15 years old, but he has already broken through the base of Wu Qi and became a warrior of true Qi. Although he is only a layer of true Qi, there are many such talents in Chenfu. Among the juveniles, it is enough to be among the top, and it is the elite that the family is preparing to focus on. It seems that the Chen family was ruined in the hands of this son. Looking at the sarcastic Chening, Chenlei remembered all kinds of past events about Chening. Chening was unable to compete for the government. In the end, he actually colluded with the Blood Wolf bandit group. The Blood Wolf bandit group broke through the Chen family. Chen Zhezhuang was washed in blood, all the wealth accumulated by the Chen family over the millennium was looted, all the men were killed, and the fate of the women was even more tragic. Chenlei's parents and sister also died in that battle. Chenlei was not in Chenjiazhuang at the time, and he fortunately escaped and became one of the few survivors of the Chen family. Later, Chen Leixiu made great progress and became the first thing after Wuzong to kill the Blood Wolf bandit group. Revenge for more than 3,700 dead souls in Chenjiazhuang. However, he killed the Blood Wolf bandit but found no trace of Chening. After that, he probed in various ways, but there was no news of Chening. Chening seemed to disappear in the world. Between average. Thinking of this, Chenlei showed a hint of murderousness, and said coldly, Chening, what kind of thing are you? Dare to say that I am a waste, you are the real waste. Chen Ying's expression cooled down instantly, with a deep chill in his eyes. Chenlei, say it again. Chenlei sneered, and said, don't say it again, it's 10 or 20 times. I dare say that you are the waste, and the waste in the waste. Chening smiled silently and said, okay, good, I don't know where you have such great courage, dare to hit me. Originally, you could still be a low-quality handyman disciple, but now, you even do the qualifications of the academy disciples are not there. I will kill you personally in the family assessment after 5 days. I can do it. Chenlei said indifferently, okay, always be present. Even if Chening didn't kill him, he still had to find a way to kill Chening, a black sheep, so as not to bring disaster to the Chen family. Seeing the stronger gunpowder smell between Chenlei and Chening, Chen Lianshan taught Lingheng, why, in this teaching class, you still want to have a fight? Is it really that you have too much energy, or that this teaching method is gentle? Chenlei, you can now practice 30 kilometers of mountain running with no load. Chening, you will give the wind to the teaching 30 times in one breath. Each time must contain the true energy, and the teaching should be less. Not spare. Seeing Chen Lianshan's teaching angry, the remaining Chen family teenagers were trembling one after another and did not dare to make a loud noise. With the help of 2 disciples, Chenlei tied a 20-pound iron sandbag on each leg and wore it on his back. A 50-pound iron sand vest was urged by Chen Lianshan to rush towards the back mountain. Everyone practiced 10 more wind palms today. Chen Jiaoxi's harsh voice sounded on the martial arts court, followed by the complaints of countless young disciples, but he did not dare to discount the number of exercises, and practiced honestly and meticulously. Chenlei ran towards the back mountain. During the journey, he carried a strange breathing method. Each breath will absorb a large amount of fresh oxygen and merge into the whole body's blood, tempering his physical body to make it stronger. This breathing method is one of the opportunities that he gained in previous lives. In fact, it is a brilliant method of regulating breath, called Qinglong water draining. It is most suitable for him who lays the foundation now. 30 kilometers of running with weight Chenlei completed quickly. In the past, he completed 30 kilometers of running with weight training. His muscles were sore throughout his body and he could hardly stand up. Shu Chang, even strength has increased a little. I am afraid that Qin Jiaoshi was afraid that I would lose in the battle with Qin Ing, and this set me apart in advance. Indeed, even if I can win against Qin Ing now, it is only a disastrous victory, but fortunately, there are still 5 at enough time for me to make some preparations. Chen Lei can understand Chen Lianshan's painstaking efforts, and his current body does have some problems, even if he has countless unique skills and rich combat experience in his mind, but Qin Ing, who has already broken through the real situation, also it will never be easily defeated, but given him 5 days to prepare, relying on the strong perverted experience of previous lives, he can definitely suppress Qin Ing with ease. The most important thing now is to rebuild Wuji and break through the real atmosphere. Chen Lei returned home from Househan directly to prepare for the rebuilding of Wuji. Chen Lei was once the most dazzling star of the Qin family. It can be said to be rapid in the cultivation of Wujigging. At the age of 11, he practiced to the 9-story great completion of Wujigging. At the time, it can be said that the entire Qin family was shaken, the entire Qinyang town was famous, and even in the Broken Mountain city hundreds of miles away, it was known that Chen Lei, a great young genius. However, the aura of genius did not last for too long on Chen Lei's head. When reaching the realm of Wu Ji and breaking through the real state of mind, Chen Lei went into the devil and not only failed to break through to the real state, but damaged Wu Ji. Buji's state of perfection also fell to 3 levels, and fell to the 6th level of Buji, and later, no matter how it was practiced, it was impossible to advance into it, and it has remained in the state of the 6th level of Buji, becoming countless people. The laughing stock in my eyes. Today, Chen Lei is still just a warrior on the 6th floor of Wujigging. It is impossible to achieve true atmosphere in 5 days. Therefore, Chen Lianshan will be as strict with Chen Lei as he hopes that Chen Lei will become a miscellaneous person in the future. The service disciples can also have some self-protection. We must know that the work done by miscellaneous service disciples is the most tiring and the most dangerous. If they do not have a certain strength, they will die the earliest. In the past, it was really impossible for me to break through to the real atmosphere in 5 days, but now, it is just around the corner. Chen Lei, who returned home, showed strong confidence in his eyes. He was born again. He knew the defects of his body and knew how to make up for them. The fatal defect of the last life was not a problem for Chen Lei at this time. Like to respect students, please collect www.ntlnovel.com to respect the students' literature to update the fastest. Supreme Rebirth Chapter 2, Eucharist of Thunder. Chapter 2. Mother, little girl, I'm back. Back home, Chen Lei greeted his mother and younger sister. Ray, how are you today, not tired? Chen Lei's mother-in-law is a young woman with a beautiful face, although it is a coarse skirt, but it is difficult to conceal her appearance. The younger sister Chen Iyer, a rare beauty embryo, is also talented. Although she is only 11 years old, this is the 8th floor of Wujigging. Although it is not as good as Chen Lei in that year, it is definitely a rare genius in the entire Chen family. Chen Man's mantra is, "Brother, I protect you." Seeing his mother and sister, Chen Lei's heart warmed up a lot. His parents and younger sisters all died in the hands of the Blood Wolf bandit. In this life, he wanted to protect his parents and younger sisters and make them happy. Mother, I'm fine. How much money is left in the house? I have urgent needs. To his mother, Chen Lei was not polite and said directly. Chen Lei's mother was very relieved to him, and did not ask Chen Lei what to ask for money, and directly handed over the only 120 yuan in the family to Chen Lei. 102 grains of silver, enough, mother, I'll go out and come back later today, don't worry. After receiving the money, Chen Lei explained to his mother and younger sister and turned away. Be careful and come back earlier. Chen mother told him to watch Chen Lei leave. After leaving the house, Chen Lei went directly to an ironsmith in the town and said to the blacksmith Chen Sledgehammer, Uncle Sledgehammer, you can borrow this shop for my use. This is 100 or 2 pieces of silver, and I will rent it for you. Chen the Hammer laughed, okay, no problem, can I help with uncle? Chen Lei said, no, but during this time, don't let people bother me, I will come out at most 2 hours. Chen the Hammer said, no problem. Later, Chen Lei went directly into the iron shop, and Chen Dehaim directly locked the gate of the iron shop. After a while, there was a rattle of percussion inside the iron shop, and the sound contained a certain charm, which made Chen Sledgehammer's eyes light up. What is this boy who is so mysterious? 2 hours later, Chen Lei came out with a copper stick more than 2 meters long, engraved with complicated patterns. Uncle Sledgehammer, I used your 200 pounds of red copper, and 10 pounds of fine iron, plus the money for renting a shop. 100 or 2 silver is enough. Chen Lei said to Chen Sledgehammer. That's enough, it's enough, it won't work. What did you get? Chen Damiai's eyebrows opened with a smile. 62 silver was enough for Chen Lei to use these things. Well, goodbye, Uncle Sledgehammer. Chen Lei did not answer Chen Sledgehammer's question at all, and flew away with a copper stick more than 2 meters long. This kid, it's still so frizzy. Chen Dahama laughed and cursed, and ignored him. Chen Lei soon left Qingyang town, and regardless of the darkness, he went straight into the Qingyang mountain behind. Soon, Chen Lei came to a deserted hilltop of Qingyang mountain. After checking that no one was around, he took a deep breath, inserted a 2-meter-long copper stick in his hand on the top of the mountain, and opened an organ above the copper stick. With the opening of the organ, a faint electric arc wandered above the copper rod, and in the air, as if an invisible force appeared, bringing together a cloud of dark clouds, and in the blink of an eye, a circle of 100 meters was formed. Clouds shrouded the hilltops, and in the clouds, there were thunderous thunders from time to time, and more lights flashed from time to time. That's it. Chen Lei took a deep breath and sat on the top of the mountain, holding the copper stick tightly with both hands. The moment Chen Lei held the copper rod, a thunder rang in the sky, and a bolt of lightning fell straight down and landed on the top of the copper rod. Clusters of electric light meandered along the copper pillars and fell directly into Chen Lei's body. Suddenly, Chen Lei's face became extremely distorted, as if suffering endless pain. However, although Chen Lei suffered extreme pain, his hands were holding the copper stick tightly, never letting go. One after another thunder and lightning fell down, passed through the copper pillar, and entered Chen Lei's body. 2 hours later, Yun Xiaolei dispersed, and the copper rod held by Chen Lei was directly reduced to the debris of one place, while Chen Lei stood up with his eyes open, and the hidden dangers in his body were completely removed. And opened the rarest form of cultivation constitution, Thunder Eucharist. The last life of Chen Lei was in a heavy rain. Chen Fan was killed in the mouth of the monster to save him. After the bones were lost, Chen Lei's anger was difficult to vent. He ran in the wilderness and was split by lightning. This awakened Thunder Saint. Physical. After the awakening of the Thunder Body, Chen Leixiu was brave and advancing. He traveled thousands of miles a day and completed the Emperor's realm in just over 100 years. In this life, Chen Lei relied on the thunder array he had mastered in the previous life to directly gather thunder and awaken the thunder the Holy Constitution. As long as the thunder Holy Constitution is awakened, his path of cultivation will be smooth and unstoppable. Just by awakening the Thunder Eucharist, I have reached the 9th level great consummation of Wuji realm, and I can break through to the real air at any time. Chen Lei inspected his current situation and found that just now he had awakened the Thunder Sacred Body. His cultivation has reached the state of complete completion from the 6th floor of Wuji realm to the 9th level of Wuji realm. Jinqi is not in a hurry to break through, consolidating the realm of Wuji first. Chen Lei was afraid that her mother and sister would worry that instead of continuing to break through, she would return home directly. Mother, I'm telling you the good news. I'm now in Wuji realm. Back home, Chen Lei told the mother and younger sister the news for the first time. After all, the mother and younger sister have been worried for Chen Lei in the past few years. Especially, Chen Lei was worried day and night. Now, Chen Lei naturally wants to make her happy. Really, really. Sure enough, after hearing this news, Chen's mother was so excited that she didn't know what to do. She couldn't help muttering to herself, sure enough, God bless me, I know that Lei's family will do it. The younger sister Lin Er was also very happy. She kept spinning around Chen Lei. Chen Lei shaved Lin Xiao's pretty little nose. Little girl, starting today, you don't need to protect your brother. Brother will protect you. If anyone dare to bully you, my brother beats his shit. Lin Biao blushed, brother, you are too vulgar to talk. Ignore you. Turned around, ran to the kitchen, and helped his mother cook. Today, the Chen Lei family is destined to celebrate. If only your father were there. During the sumptuous dinner, Chen's mother, who did not touch the wine on a weekday, drank a lot, with a red face, and said with sigh. Chen Lei's father, Chen Mantang, has been working in the hunting team of the Chen family. Although the hunting team makes a lot of money, it is a life-threatening job. It is a very dangerous job to discuss life in the knife. Now he is not at home. Instead, they hunted monsters out with the hunting team. Ma'am, don't worry, when my father returns this time, he will let his father quit the job of the hunting team, and the children will earn money to support the family. Mother Chen smiled, Lei, you have this kind of heart, but now your most important thing is to cultivate, not to make money to support your family. This is what adults do. For Chen Lei's words, Chen's mother didn't care. Now that Chen Lei has reached the 9th floor of Wuji realm, the cost will be more, and the cultivation of the children is also critical. Expenses in the home will inevitably be more, I'm afraid we have to work hard again. Chen Lei knew that his mother hadn't taken his words to heart, but he didn't say much. He wanted to make money now and it was easy, and he would never let his father do such a dangerous job again. After eating, Chen Lei returned to his house and began to practice again. This time he practiced the exercises he had done in previous lives, called the Lei Di Jing. His previous life was called the Lei Emperor. It was because of his coincidence that he gained the ancient Lei Emperor's heritage and practiced the Lei Emperor's scriptures. Only by doing so, he naturally made the Lei Emperor his first choice. Practice exercises. He can be said to have been familiar with the bone marrow in the practice of the Lei Di Jing. He practiced overnight without any surprises, and directly broke into the real atmosphere. In the process, he laid the foundation of Wu Jigging firmly. Breaking through the true atmosphere, the purity and vigor of the true atmosphere in the body can be comparable to the martial arts in the third layer of the true atmosphere. In addition to the various martial arts he masters, even the 5-layer warrior in the true atmosphere, in his there is no such thing as a fight, in other words, now Chen Lei can easily crush such masters as Chen Lianshan. There are still 5 days left for the assessment of the Chen family's adult disciples. During these 5 days, all adult disciples no longer need to practice in the uniformed martial arts field, but can arrange their own time. During this time, Chen Lei used all of his skills and various martial arts to practice the Lei Di Jing. After 5 days of hard practice, his cultivation is still a layer of true energy, but martial arts are very skilled and powerful. The basic skills of the Chen family are strong, and they are also familiar with the 2 special martial arts techniques, such as the Xia Lialian sword technique in the Lei Di Jing and the Aoki Thunder Light God Needle. Xia Lialian sword technique is the entry and basic method of the Great Chaos Thunder Sword Array in the Lei Di Jing, and the Great Chaos Thunder Sword Array is the most powerful sword array recorded in the Lei Di Jing. De Shang is able to slaughter God and destroy magic, and his power is endless. Chen Lei in the previous life has only practiced to the first level of the Great Chaos Thunder and Thunder Sword Array, which is his compulsory skill. As for the Aoki Thunder Light God Needle, this is no longer a martial art. It can be called mystery, with great power, it is Chen Lei's whole card. Like to respect students, please collect www.mtlnovel.com to respect the students' literature to update the fastest. Supreme Rebirth Chapter 3, Life and Death. Chapter 3 Life and Death. The 5-day time passed quickly, ushered in the assessment period of the adult disciples of the Chen family. During this period, Chen Lei's father, Chen Mantang, also rushed back from the wild. After learning that Chen Lei had broken through to the real state, he couldn't wait for surprise speak. This day is the day when the adult disciples of the Chen family are evaluated. The Chen family is one of the 5 major families in Qingyang town. The evaluation of the adult disciples of this family can be said to be a major event in Qingyang town. Natural people are naturally not qualified to come to observe the ceremony. But Zhao, Wang, Nye, and Sun, who belong to the 5 major families of the Chen family, all had elders who brought their young disciples to observe the ceremony. On this day, the Chen family's door opened wide and the lights were bright and lively. The two energetic disciples stood upright and greeted the elders and disciples of the major families. Soon, everyone came one after another to gather at the Chen family to perform martial arts. This time, the Chen family's adult disciples participated in a total of 120 disciples, all of whom were 15 years old or older. Dear everyone, this year is my annual assessment of adult disciples in the Chen family. There are 120 disciples participating in the adult assessment, of which 10 have broken through to the real world before the age of 15, and 35 have reached Wuji. The 9th level of Great Consummation is about to break through into the real atmosphere in the assessment. Below, we will start the first item of the adult assessment, which will be revised as a test. Elder Chen Luotu, who presided over the adult assessment, directly announced the start of the test. In fact, each practice is the most tedious, because most people's practice is controlled by the family. This practice is a test, but it's a cutoff, and there are rarely accidents. Sure enough, with the Xiao Wei test going on, the 35 disciples of Wu Jiging Deyuan did not unexpectedly break out of the real atmosphere, while others did not break through the real atmosphere at all. A teenager who fails to break through to the real state before the age of 15 will become a mixed disciple outside the Chen family. When will he break through the real state and when will he become a formal disciple of the Chen family? These disciples who have broken through to the realm of realism will become the elite disciples of the Chen family and will be vigorously cultivated. Soon it was Chen Lei's turn. Chen Lei, come on. The person in charge of the test called Chen Lei's name and read aloud. Chen Lei, is that young man with the reputation of Qingyang Town and even Broken Mountain City on the first day? As soon as Chen Lei appeared, there was a riot on the entire viewing platform. After all, Chen Lei was the pride of the entire Chen family. At the age of 11, Wu Jiging was successfully completed on the 9th floor. Such a genius has never been in Qingyang Town for 100 years. Out of 1. That's just past, now Chen Lei is just a waste, what's so nice about it? In front of the viewing platform, Wang's parents, Wang Chongqing, gave a cold hum and did not lower his voice at all. His words were heard clearly by thousands of people throughout the performance martial arts field. The Wang family and the Chen family are full of contradictions. The two disciples meet on weekdays. It is common for them to act directly. If they meet in the wild, they will be killed directly. Both Wang and Chen have several headless murders. It is a black hand of the other party, and both of them know each other well, but no one has evidence. After all, to do this kind of thing, it is absolutely necessary to do it neatly, without leaving future troubles. Both know that there will be a battle in the future, either you will die or I will live, but now there is no confidence between the two to completely kill each other, and under the guilty of each other, maintain a delicate balance, but in some public places, it's a common thing to do each other's face. This time the assessment of the Chen family's adult disciples, Wang's parents, Wang Chongqing, came with an attitude of finding fault, and naturally they would not leave the Chen family with the slightest face. In the face of Wang Chongqing's sarcasm, the owner of the Chen family and the elders looked ugly, but what Wang Chongqing said were well-known facts. Even if the family of the Chen family and many elders refuted, they had no excuse. What a shame, why do you still have a face to participate in this adult assessment? My Chen family's face was completely lost by you. Chen Ning didn't hide his voice, said coldly to Chen Lei. Chen Lei took a deep look at Chen Ning and didn't say much. Instead, he turned his head to the old parent Wang on the viewing platform and said aloud, "Old things, who are you talking about as waste? You are my Chen family. The guests who come here are so rude, do they live on dogs?" After listening to Chen Lei's words, Wang's parents, Wang Chongqing, became so angry that he shook his beard and screamed angrily, "Puppy, you dare to be rude to your husband." Chen Lei sneered, "Tit for tat, old dog, everyone who humiliates must be humiliated, no matter how rude to you, I can't bite you." In the face of Chen Lei, Wang Chongqing really couldn't get a general understanding with him. How could Wang Chongqing never think of it? Chen Lei dared to speak to him so boldly and instead said to the Chen family master and the elders, "Chen family master, this is your Chen family tutor." Facing the questioning of Wang Chongqing, Chen Tang's owner, Chen Tangxian, smiled, and said, "Elder Wang, why are you so angry, and you have general knowledge with juniors? Moreover, I don't think that Chen Lei's statement may be unreasonable. You say yes or no. After listening to Chen Tangshuan's words, Wang Changqing was so suffocated that he had nowhere to vent, staring at Chen Lei, anxious to break Chen Lei into corpses. Chen Lei felt Wang Changqing's gaze without any fear, and said, "Old dog, what do you look at? I will let you know today, Xiaoye, my real strength." Having said that, ignoring Wang Changqing's gaze of eating people, he came to the stone pillar of the test repair, but he did not see the slightest gesture. He patted it on the stone pillar of the test repair, and was able to withstand Wu Jigging. The stone pillars that the Yuan attacked with full force made a loud noise and exploded to smash. How can that be? Whether it was the many elders in front of the observatory or the children of the Qin family who were watching on the stage of the performance, they were deeply shocked. They opened their mouths and couldn't believe the scene they saw, especially Chen Lianshan, Chen Lei's teaching. He could hardly breathe, and he clearly remembered that Chen Lei was just a 6th-level cultivation of Wu Jigging 5 days ago, but now, what happened? How could he reach the Wu Jigging's great consummation? No, not Wu. The base environment was very successful. Seeing that Chen Lei had just shot without any fireworks, he would smash the test stone pillars into pieces. This can only be achieved by repairing the real environment. What happened in the past few days and how Chen Lei has changed so much? Chen Ning was completely stunned, and the gravel was like a slap, and his face flushed with slaps. Naturally, Wang Changqing's eyesight would not be bad, and he was equally astonished, but in a flash, his voice sounded again, but it's the 9th level of Wuji reality, and there is nothing to be proud of. At your age, there are a lot of breakthroughs in breaking through the real world. You see and even count the ants in my royal family. I am so proud of you. It's a frog at the bottom of the well. Chen Lei Dao, old things, since you say so, it's better to let your disciples of the Wang family discuss with me for a while, and see what the elite of your royal family is, what is the great existence, or will they only blow the atmosphere in their own homes, once they are outside become a bear. Elder Wang glanced at Chen Lei with a grim look, and agreed without hesitation, well, in a fight, my disciples of the Wang family will weigh and see what you can do. Each time the 5 major families of Qingyang town are assessed for adulthood, several major families will send young disciples to discuss and measure each other's strength. This is also a common practice. Therefore, Chen Lei and Wang's young disciples conducted discussions without any violations. In the end, all Chen's disciples were assessed and entered the stage of battle. Below, which disciple challenged me from the Chen family elite? The elder Chen Luotu asked the crowd sitting on the viewing platform. Of course, my Wang family came first. Didn't Chen Lei agree to discuss with my Wang family disciples just now? Naturally, my Wang family disciples first came first. Wang Changqing Ren said indifferently. Elder Chen Luotu looked at Chen Lei and sought his opinion. Chen Lei nodded toward Elder Chen Luotu, and said loudly, Elder Chen, my disciples are willing to take part in the battle, and they will never fall into my Chen family name. Chen Luotu said, Okay, Elder Wang, Chen Lei is now repairing a layer of true qi, and the disciples you send must not exceed the layer of true qi, and the 2 sides must not use any treasures or elixir. Cultivate battles on your own. Wang Changqing smiled and proudly said, That's natural. My disciples of the Wang family naturally disdain to use foreign objects to bully your Chen family disciples. However, this elder has to add an additional condition. This challenge is to sign a life and death. What, signing for death? Elder Chen Luotu was stunned, but this rule was not available before. Wang Changqing sneered, with a murmurous killing in his voice, saying, Yes, Chen Lei hits the elder. Where can it be so easy? He naturally has to pay a certain price. This time, the challenge is endless between the 2 sides. Elder Chen Luotu will look at the owner. He cannot do such a major thing. Chen Tangxian, the head of the Chen family, looked towards Chen Lei and sought his opinions. If Chen Lei did not agree, then he would respect Chen Lei's decision. After all, Chen Lei was an elite disciple of the Chen family, and he was not willing to lose easily. Like to respect students, please collect www.ntlnovel.com, the fastest update of literature in respect of students. Supreme Rebirth Chapter 4, Flail. Chapter 4. Seeing the owner looking at him, Chen Lei nodded without hesitation and said, "Homeowner, I am willing to sign a life and death." Chen Tangxian smiled, "Okay, it is indeed my disciple of the Chen family, with courage and courage. As long as you can defeat the disciples of the Wang family, the owner has a great reward." Chen Lei arched and said, "Thank you very much." After speaking, Chen Lei faced Wang Chongqing and asked indifferently, "I don't know which disciple of the Wang family came to enlighten me. Elder, let me go. Let me go." On the side of the Wang family, 4 or 5 young people immediately rushed to fight. Chen Lei's arrogance just angered these proud Wang family children. Everyone was anxious to shatter Chen Lei's body. Moreover, these royal family children were extremely talented. Self-confidence, they can defeat and kill Chen Lei, because each of them will have a longer time to enter the first level of the real world than Chen Lei, and each one has the martial arts skills passed by the Wang family. If they cannot deal with the Chen family, a rookie disciple who has just entered the real world, how can they deserve to be the elite of the royal family? Wang Chongqing glanced at the disciple who was eager to fight, and nodded with satisfaction, and said casually, "Jin Peng, let's go to the battle, take off Chen Lei's puppy dog head, and give him a bonus jade." The teenager named Wang Jinpeng showed ecstasy on his face and said excitedly, "Observe, the disciples will take Chen Lei's head off and give it to the elders." After that, Fei Xing jumped to the performance martial arts field, and signed a life and death certificate with Chen Lei under the notarization of notaries on both sides. After signing the life and death, Wang Jinpeng slammed his hand on the ground and looked at Chen Lei as if looking at a dead person. The two sides stepped into the center of the martial arts field, and Wang Jinpeng screamed angrily, "Chen Lei, remember Grandpa's name, kill you, Wang Jinpeng is also." After speaking, the whole person was full of arms and arms spread out. If a Jinpeng was like him, he flew towards Chen Lei fiercely, and Wang Jinpeng's claws were pale golden and the claws were sharp. Every claw attack would be accompanied by the harsh sound of breaking the air was shocking. "My disciple of the Wang family, if you just come out alone, you can easily kill your disciples of the Chen family. This Jin Jinpeng practiced Jinpeng in my Wang family Jinpeng's heavenly tactics. The Chen puppy asks for more." Wang Chongqing caressed his beard and was very proud of his face. The Wang family's Jinpeng's turn of the sky is a town practice. Although this Jinpeng's tearing of the claws is only the basic method of Jinpeng's turn of the sky, but the power is infinite. The basic skills of the wind are violent, and I don't know how many times. The faces of the Chen family's owner and the elders suddenly looked difficult. I did not expect that a disciple of the Wang family was so powerful. After all, Chen Lei was just an ordinary disciple. In addition to the basic skills, he had not cultivated the Chen family's powerful martial arts. No matter how you look at it, you can't be Wang Jinpeng's opponent. Dead. Wang Jinpeng's body is also very erratic and weird. After a few twists, he appeared in front of Chen Lei. His claws tore through the void, and he grabbed at Chen Lei's neck severely. Able to cut Chen Lei's neck. This is also called Jinpeng tearing the sky claw. Chen Lei saw Wang Jinpeng wield 2 claws and grabbed him. In his mind, he couldn't help thinking of Jinpeng, one of the 7 saints of the monster tribe. The monster of the tribe was the same as the human emperor. This is the destiny and magical power of Jinpeng, a demon tribe. After being modified by a terrific talent of the tribe, it has become a powerful martial art. At that time, Chen Lei was Lei Emperor, who had personally beheaded and killed a great saint of the Jinpeng clan, and obtained a life bone branded with this destiny. It can be said that no one understands the mystery of tearing the claws of heaven better than Wang Jinpeng. The comprehensible Jinpeng tears the claws of the sky, and in his eyes he is completely wrong. In the face of such an attack, Chen Lei can break his hand. Dare to fight against me and fight to death. When Wang Jinpeng saw Chen Lei face his fatal blow, he not only completely ignored it, but he was lost for a moment just now. This is not an insult to Wang Jinpeng. Wang Jinpeng's claws once again scored sharply. Under. Oh. With a loud noise, Wang Jinpeng felt a strong noise coming from his chest, and his whole body flew out like a disconnected kite. What just happened? On the podium, Elder Wang Chongqing's proud smile froze on his face. Just now it was clear that Wang Jinpeng's claws were already on Chen Lei's neck. With a little hard work, Chen Lei's neck could be torn, but in a flash, how could Pinger vomit blood? He flew out. Even with his eyesight, he couldn't see how Chen Lei defeated Wang Jinpeng. The other people on the viewing platform also did not see clearly. Chen Tangxian was originally worried about Chen Lei. In a flash, the plot actually reversed so much. Not to mention the crowd on the viewing platform, not even Wang Jinpeng understood how Chen Lei avoided his tight claw net and hit himself with one palm. How can you break through my perfect blockade? Wang Jinpeng asked while coughing up blood. Perfect, you are too proud of yourself. Chen Lei sneered, and had no intention to dispel Wang Jinpeng's confusion. He walked in the wind, and his whole body seemed to be hidden in the wind. Wang Jinpeng only felt a gust of wind rushing towards himself. Facing Chen Lei's advance, he made a fierce hair, roared, slammed the ground, his body jumped, his claws appeared, and he fiercely attacked Chen Lei. However, Wang Jinpeng found sadly that no matter how exquisite his claws were, he could not even touch Chen Lei's clothes. Chen Lei was like a light breeze, and his body was terrifying. You only have this ability, time is up, and I will take you on my way. Suddenly, Chen Lei's cold voice came into Wang Jinpeng's ears. Wang Jinpeng hadn't responded yet. Suddenly, he found a palm in the air, passed through his layers of claws, and pressed directly on his chest. The fierce energy broke through his body, shattering his heart. Why is this? Wang Jinpeng slowly fell to the ground and said puzzledly. Little beast, so cruel. Elder Wang Chongqing sighed angrily, and volleyed in a slap to Chen Lei. He instantly saw a giant palm condensed from the vitality and appeared on top of Chen Lei's head, and the thunder generally fell down. The strong pressure suddenly caused Chen Lei's bones to break, and the qi in his body ran crazy throughout the body. Laugh. Suddenly, a wind came through and shattered the giant palm condensed by the vitality. Numerous vitality turbulence flowed around, shaving Chen Lei's long black hair fluttering and dancing. The man who shot it was Chen Tangxian, the head of the Chen family. At this moment, his face was somber and he said coldly, Elder Wang, what do you mean, you want to break the rules? Wang Chongqing said with a look of murder, Chen Tangxian, this little beast is so prosperous and the means are so ruthless. He will become a demon in the future. This elder will kill the people. Chen Tangxian, the host of the Chen family, sneered, it's not my turn to disciple the Chen family. You and the two signed a life and death status. You were arrogant in the test. Your disciple of the royal family died, and you actually complained to my disciple of the Chen family. It was a vicious shot, a joke. At this point, Chen Lei had already recovered from that huge pressure, looking at Wang Chongqing, with a look of anger, old man, you still have to be shameless, dare to kill me in a fair test, Jane really lost your royal family. His face is gone, and I will kill you in the future. Furious old man. Hearing Chen Lei's words, Wang Chongqing was so angry that his beard and hair stood upright, but it was helpless. Old man, don't say I won't give you a chance, I'm standing here. You can continue to send your disciples of the king's family to take revenge on you. Of course, you must sign your life or death, or you won't be willing to attend. Elder, the disciples are willing to go and take Chen Lei's life. Another disciple of the Wang family asked him to take the initiative. Okay, as long as Chen is killed, this elder personally takes out 10 Jin Yudan as a reward. Wang Chongqing almost gritted his teeth. A disciple on the face of the disciple of the Wang family, Jin Yudan is a treasure medicine used to break through the bottleneck in real life. It is worth 10,000 silver, and it is almost priceless and difficult to buy. Even if there is money on weekdays, you can't buy it. Now, Elder Wang has 10 mouthpieces. The young disciple of the Wang family is naturally extremely happy. The disciple of the Wang family walked towards Yanwuchang. The envious eyes of several disciples of the Wang family showed envious eyes. As long as Chen Lei was killed, 10 Jin Yudans were in hand. How can such a good thing fail to turn them around and not get a chance? Several disciples of the Wang family regretted it. After the disciple of the Wang family signed the death certificate, he said to Chen Lei, boy, remember my name. Before the disciple of the Wang family finished speaking, Chen Lei interrupted his words. I never remember the name of a dead person. I will take a shot if I want to, and there is so much nonsense. The young disciple of the Wang family was depressed and angrily shouted, look at the fist. Having said that, the disciple of the Wang family banged his fists fiercely towards Chen Lei. Wherever his fists passed, the sound of tiger howling sounded, and a strong wind blew across his face. Carved worm tricks. Chen Lei saw the disciple of the Wang family slamming his fist and snorted in his heart. The disciple of the Wang family used the Tiger King Shaoshan boxing, which is a very powerful and lethal martial art. However, in the vision of Chen Lei with experience, the power of this powerful martial arts is really no bright spot at all. He broke the palm of the wind, and the dense palm-like method is pervasive. The young disciple of the Wang family has no ability to resist at all. Only in one round, he hit 18 hands, his body and bones were broken, and he died of death. This is the elite disciples of the Wang family, but that's it. Chen Lei stood in the middle of Yanwu Stadium, looked at Wang Chongqing, shook his head in disdain, and the irony revealed. Like to respect students, please collect www.mtlnovel.com to respect the students' literature to update the fastest. Supreme Rebirth Chapter 5, Transcendence. How can that be? Wang Chongqing saw the disciples of the Wang family who fell down at the feet of Chen Lei, with a look of grief in his face. The disciple of the Wang family just now was much stronger than Wang Jinpeng, and his inner spirit was much deeper, and he had experienced cruelty. A disciple who had seen blood and was actually killed by Chen Lei in one stroke. The Chen Lei used it only as the most basic martial arts wind of the Chen family. How could there be such a powerful force? At this time, Elder Wang Chongqing hated Chen Lei into his bone marrow and wished to eat his flesh and sleep on his skin. It's detached. On the viewing platform, an elder of the Nye family said with emotion. Transcendence. The old sentence of Mr. Nye, like a flash of lightning, split the layers of fog in the hearts of everyone, and finally knew why Chen Lei was so powerful. Chen Lei actually practiced the Chen family's basic martial arts wind into the detachment. As we all know, the martial arts in the world are divided into 9 levels from weak to strong. However, the martial arts of the same rank have different powers in the hands of different people. In addition to the martial arts rank, it depends on the understanding of martial arts. The comprehension of martial arts is divided into several levels: entry, mastery, small success, great success, completeness, and transcendence. And training to the level of transcendence, it can be said that the understanding of martial arts has reached an extreme, allowing martial arts to break away from the limits of its own rank, and can exert its power beyond the ranks of martial arts itself. However, transcendence places extremely high demands on the practitioner's understanding. It is possible to cultivate a martial arts skill among the transcendencers and 100,000 warriors, and it is not necessary to be able to find one person. Such talents are real geniuses and evil spirits. The Chen family and Chen Lei are undoubtedly such a real genius. Even if Chen Lei is backward in cultivation, with such a strong understanding, he can definitely sweep through opponents in the same realm. Whether it is Wang Jinpeng or another Wang family child, although their practice skills are extremely high, their understanding of martial arts, at best, only reaches the level of entry level, which is far from the true power of the martial arts they have learned. How could it be Chen Lei's opponent? Old man, are your disciples willing to enlighten me? Chen Lei didn't intend to let Wang Chongqing so easily, and started to invite battle again. Little thief, don't bully you too much. Wang Chongqing almost sipped his old blood, his eyes were red, and he stared at Chen Lei. If his eyes could kill, Chen Lei would not know how many times he had died. However, after all, Wang Chongqing's city is very deep, and he took a glance at the disciples of the Wang family. The other disciples in the first layer of Jinshi were not rivals if they met Chen Lei. The disciples at the second and third levels of Jinshi can suppress him with strong cultivation, but the Chen family will never let such an unfair test appear. After trying to understand the reason, Wang Chongqing also simply said, the old man admits planting, but Chen Lei, don't be too arrogant, otherwise you won't know how to die. The threat in Wang Chongqing's speech is self-evident. Chen Lei did not pay any attention to the threats in Wang Chongqing's words. He said, there is no need for Elder Wang to worry about it. After speaking, he no longer cares about Wang Chongqing. Chen Tangxian sneered, Elder Wang, how dare you threaten my Chen family so blatantly, do you really think that my Chen family can do nothing? Wang Chongqing just snorted and did not refute, but the more so, the more it shows that Wang Chongqing's killing of Chen Lei was in his heart. Seeing that nobody in the Wang family dares to fight, Chen Lei set his eyes on Chen Ying and said lightly, Chen Ying, it is your turn, can you dare to fight me? Regarding Chen Ying's insults just now, Chen Lei kept it in his heart and just ignored it, which does not mean that he would easily expose the holiday. In front of everyone's eyes, Chen Ying, who was arrogant and proud, faced the challenge of Chen Lei. How could he shrink back? He came to Yanwu and said coldly, I want to see why you are so arrogant. Although Chen Lei defeated 2 disciples of the Wang family just now, Chen Ying still didn't pay much attention to Chen Lei. He also regarded him as a waste that can be bullied at will. I saw him raise his palms, and that a storm of storms, in the palm of the wind I shot directly towards Chen Lei. For a moment, the whole Wushu field was violently windy, and the shadows of the sky were overlapping and drowning towards Chen Lei. The subtlety of the hurricane shower is that it is extremely fast and powerful. When the enemy has not responded, he is overwhelmed by the power of the sky, and there is no force to fight it. Carved worm tricks. Chen Lei's eyes showed a contemptuous look. Chen Ying's move seemed subtle, but in Chen Lei's eyes, there were no fewer than 10 flaws. His foot was chasing after the wind, his body was swinging, and he was facing the strong wind of the sky. The palm up, wind rises slightly in the palm of the hand directly passed through the layers of Chen Ying's palm wind and banged heavily on Chen Ying's chest. Although the wind rises slightly is only a starting gesture, what is particular about it is that it is silent and pervasive, which makes people indefensible. Chen Lei fully exerts this type of subtlety. Chen Ying did not see exactly how Chen Lei shot. Has already been recruited. Boom! With a loud noise, the shadow of Chen Tian's palm that was swayed by Chen Ying disappeared, his face was white, and he stepped back for more than 10 steps. He could not help but spit blood, and on his chest, a clear palm print imprinted on above. Little miscellaneous, dare you hurt me, I will kill you. Chen Ying's eyes were stained with blood red, like an angry beast, making angry screams, his hands flexed slightly to form claws, the 3rd-level martial arts Yin Feng claws were exhibited, and they were caught directly towards Chen Lei. This Yin Feng claw is also a subtle martial art in the entire Chen family. Chen Ying's father, as one of the family elders, has the power to impart Yining to Chen Ying in advance. The power and sophistication of the Yin Feng claw is several times stronger than that of the Feng Feng palm. The Feng Feng palm is only an introduction to basic exercises, not even the 1st order, but the Yin Feng claw is a 3rd order. The gap is really too big. However, who is Chen Lei, let alone the 3rd order Yin Feng claw, even if it is the advanced method of Jiuyo Yin Feng claw of Yin Feng claw, he knows it well, and once practiced to the level of detachment, Chen Ying district entry level the Yin Feng claw, childish and ridiculous in his eyes. Chen Lei's chasing wind with his footsteps out of the way, Chen Lei's cozy, chic and calm, as if walking in the flowers, easily avoiding Chen Ying's Yin Feng claw, pinching a flaw, the same wind in the palm of the wind, rain, was shot on Chen Ying. For a moment, Chen Ying hit 11 palms in a row, his body flew out like a rag, and he fell heavily on the playing field. Stop! Suddenly, a loud shout came from the crowd, a figure like a gray eagle, flew in front of Chen Ying, lifted up the severely injured Chen Ying, checked Chen Ying's injury slightly, his face was ugly. This man was Chen Ying's father, Chen Zhuchuan. His face was cold and cold. After inspection, he found that Chen Ying was seriously injured and his whole body was broken. Especially at Dantian, 3 palms were hit in succession, and Wu Ji was damaged and regarded as a waste. In fact, according to Chen Lei's intention, he wanted to kill Chen Ying directly, but his current strength was not enough to deal with the serious consequences of killing Chen Ying, so he was merciful and left Chen the eagle was killed. However, it was basically impossible for Chen Ying to practice martial arts after that. Small beasts, so hot means. Chen Zhuchuan snarled, a flash of fierce light flashed in his eyes, and raised his hand and shot down towards Chen Lei. Chen Zhuchuan is a martial arts level practitioner on the 5th floor of Ningyuan realm. This resentment is not something Chen Lei can resist. Chen Lei did not expect that Chen Zhuchuan would actually deal with him directly in front of the elders and the owner, and a sense of crisis raised in his heart. The vitality in his body quickly swept towards his feet. There was already a flash of electric light in his foot. Move. Although Chen Lei could not withstand Chen Zhuchuan's hateful blow, he was confident that he could escape Chen Zhuchuan's attack. However, at that time, I am afraid that he will expose the exercises he learned in the Lei Di Jing. Stop. Just as Chen Lei was about to perform a lightning step to avoid Chen Zhuchuan's attack, a loud drink was sent from the viewing platform, and a dark blue suffocating volley shot blocked Chen Zhuchuan's attack. The striker was still Chen Zhuchuan, the owner of the Chen family. Homeowner, why did you stop me? Chen Zhuchuan's eyes were red and he directly asked Chen Tangxian. Chen Tangxian looked magnificent, with a serious expression, and reprimanded, Elder Chen, as a family elder, you bullied the young and shot Chen Lei regardless of your status. Will Chen's family rules be in your eyes? Chen Zhuchuan was extremely indignant, pointing at Chen Lei, saying, the owner, family rules also need to take care of human feelings. This little beast gave up the eagle, Dan Tian was damaged, and Wuji collapsed. In this life, he will become a waste person. It would be a scourge to stay with my Chen family, so let me remove it earlier, so as not to bring more disaster to my Chen family. Chen Lei took a step forward and said to Chen Tangxian, the host and the disciples have something to say. Just now in the competition, everyone saw the score. Chen Ying used the third-order martial arts Yin Feng Claw. Under the circumstances, the disciples could not stay at all. They could only go all out. What's more, the competition was a one who did not give up on the spot and showed no mercy. Chen Ying was defeated by his disciples. He could only blame him for his poor academic skills. Responsibility is all on the disciples. Chen Lei's remarks were well-founded, which resonated with many disciples. Puppy, nonsense, I split you alive. After listening to Chen Lei's words, Chen Zhuchuan was as crazy as he was, and raised his hand and slashed at Chen Lei. Humph. Chen Tangxian, the head of the Chen family, gave a cold hum, and the powerful momentum was released, and the directly suppressed Chen Zhuchuan could not move. Elder Chen, you can't be too pretentious. My Chen family rules cannot be profaned. Now, the owner orders you to control your emotions and take Chen Ying down. Chen Tangxuan's meaning was already very clear. Chen Zhuchuan did not dare to disobey, stared at Chen Lei with an extremely resentful attitude, and quit Chen Wuchang holding Chen Ying without a word. Only the thick murderous power exposed in his eyes before leaving left Chen Lei's heart. A cloud of light floated. Chen Lei's heart has added a layer of vigilance. In the previous life, he was not very impressed with Chen Ying's father, Chen Zhuchuan, because he had not dealt with too much at all. However, from the performance of Chen Zhuchuan just now, it can be seen that this person has a narrow-minded, unwilling to report. Non-good people cannot be too careful about such people. However, Chen Lei also knows that this kind of person is too courageous and does not have full confidence and will never take it easy. At least here in the Chen family, he dare not deal with himself openly. As long as he is allowed to grow up, Chen Zhuchuan does this. People, he will not be regarded by him at all. Chen Lei was thinking about all kinds of plans, and the owner of the Chen family turned to explain to Chen Lei, after all, is an intercommunal discussion, you must not take too much shots in the future. Yes, the owner. Chen Lei, who is fairly fair and rigorous in his dealings and is dedicated to the family, is quite recognized. When the Blood Wolf bandits washed the Chen family in blood, the Chen family's repairs could completely abandon the people and escape alone, but however, he did not do so. Instead, he lived and died with the people, and was eventually besieged by the Blood Wolf bandits to death. However, some of Chen Lei's performances were too freaky. He defeated two powerful enemies of the royal family in a row, and easily smashed Chen Ying into a serious injury. For a time, other disciples who were new to the real spirit did not dare to take the initiative to challenge Chen Lei, and those disciples on the second level of Jinqi, disdained to challenge Chen Lei. After all, winning Chen Lei on the second level of Jinqi is not glorious. If he loses, it will be even more humiliating. After 3 games, so in the remaining matches, they did not play again until the end. Like to respect students, please collect www.ntlnovel.com, the fastest update of literature in respect of students. Supreme Rebirth Chapter 6, Enhanced Strength. Chapter 6 Enhanced Strength. After the evaluation of the adult disciples, the elders of the family such as Wang, Zhao, Nye, and Sun took their disciples away, and Chen Lei and others followed the elders to receive the rewards in the family treasury. This time, Chen Lei performed best and received the most rewards, totaling 100,000 silvers, 5 gold jade dawn, and 100 gas dawn, and after 5 days, he could go to Wutang to select 2 fourth-order exercises. Martial arts practice, but these exercises are not of any use to Chen Lei. After receiving the reward, Chen Lei returned home. At this time, Chen Lei's home was already a joy. Chen Mantang went home early to report the good news, and Chen Lei's mother prepared a rich feast, only to wait for Chen Lei to come back to celebrate. After Chen Lei returned, the younger sister Chen Eyre ran over first, flinged in Chen Leihui, holding his arms tightly and not letting go. The father and mother of Chen smiled and looked at Chen Lei. "Brother, congratulations." A loud voice sounded. Chen Lei looked away, but Chen Fan drank the wine and hurriedly arrived, his face filled with a sincere smile. He was really happy for Chen Lei. Chen Fan also broke through this time and became an elite disciple in the family. However, his performance in the battle was far worse than Chen Lei, but instead of being jealous, Chen Fan was proud of Chen Lei. "Come, today we will all be drunk." Father Chen was so excited that everyone was invited to the table to have a drink. The crowds did not disperse until late at night. After Chen Lei settled his drunk parents and younger sisters, he stayed in his room, sober, and not drunk at all. The Chen family will face the Blood Wolf Bandit group in a few years. The strength of the Blood Wolf Bandit group is not what the Chen family can resist now. In this period of time, we must find a way to improve the strength of the Chen family, and my own strength, also get up as soon as possible. Chen Lei knew the fate of the Chen family a few years later, and had a sense of urgency in his heart. Moreover, whether it was Chen Zhuchuan or Wang Chongqing of the Wang family, I was afraid to kill him and quickly. Now he is facing the warrior in Ningyuan realm and has not yet defended himself. He must also prepare early, and the strength of his father, mother, younger sister, and his good brother Chen Fan also needs to be promoted as soon as possible. Regrets of the previous life, he will never allow it to repeat itself. Chen Lei's mind was running fast, thinking about how to improve his strength as well as his parents, relatives and friends as soon as possible. Gradually, he had a holistic plan in his mind, so he put his mind on cultivation and passed it all night. At the beginning of the new day, the family of Chen Lei was extremely happy. The performance of Chen Lei swept away the haze of the family for many years. The faces of each of Chen's father, mother Chen, and younger sisters involuntarily revealed a knowing smile. And on the day of Chen Lei, he also decided to implement his own promotion plan. "Father, mother, younger sister, I have something to tell you." After breakfast, Chen Lei solemnly addressed his family. When Chen Mantang and others saw Chen Lei being so serious, he couldn't help but sit up straight. Chen father said, "Liar, let's say something." "Father, mother, younger sister, do you believe me?" Chen Lei asked. "That's natural. If we don't believe you, who else can we trust?" Father Chen, mother Chen and younger sister Chen Eyre said in unison that they all felt that Chen Lei was a little strange today. Regardless of the curiosity of his parents and younger sister, Chen Lei said, "Since you believe in me, then no matter what I do next, you don't need to be surprised, don't ask more. Just remember, I am for your sake. Okay?" Although Chen Chen's mother and younger sister felt that Chen Lei's words and deeds were strange today, they all thought that Chen Lei might be overexcited and did not refute, and nodded. Facing his father, Chen Lei said, "Father, let me test your qualifications and pass me your wrist." Chen Mantang handed out his right hand, and Chen Lei put his fingers on his father's veins and wrists. After a while, Chen Lei Song put his fingers on the wrists of his mother and younger sister Chen Chainer, and tested their qualifications. Chen Lei's method of testing qualifications is much stronger than that of most families, sects and even holy places nowadays. He can truly discover a person's potential and strengths. After testing the qualifications of his family, he had already realized that among the three, the youngest girl had the best qualifications, which was the rare Aoki spirit body, while his father and mother were not very qualified, but, if you practice according to Chen Lei's practice method, the final achievement will never be worse. You cannot become the emperor of Nirvana territory, and you can definitely reach the level of Wuzhu in Wuhuan realm. After testing his qualifications, Chen Lei wrote down 3 exercises, handed them over to his parents and younger sister, and then said, "Father, mother, younger sister, you must carefully write down these 3 exercises and destroy them. You practice these 3 exercises, which are the exercises that work best for you." Father Chen, Mother Chen and younger sister Chen Chainer looked at the 3 exercises in front of them, and then looked at Chen Lei, as if they did not know Chen Lei. "Ray, where do you all come from?" In the end, Father Chen didn't hold back the curiosity in his heart and asked. The 3 exercises in front of them are the 3 major exercises, namely, the 9 Nether Hades classics, the ice and fire techniques, and the Aoki sacred code. Each of these 3 exercises is a 9th order superb exercise. "Father, don't ask, I can't say it, and even if someone asks you, don't say it." Chen Lei couldn't explain his rebirth, he kept mystery and said nothing. Seeing Chen Lei's mysterious appearance, his father mistakenly thought what kind of restraint Chen Lei was subject to, and he simply stopped asking. With the help of Chen Lei, Chen's father, Mother Chen, and younger sister Chen Er quickly switched to these 3 exercises and got started. "Father, mother, younger sister, these are Jin Yudan and Ningqi Dan rewarded by the family. You can use them. No need to quit, I have a better one." Chen Lei blocked his father's and mother's mouth in a single sentence, and then gave all his elixir to his father and mother. He himself only left 100,000 silver tickets. In the next few days, Chen Leishan was mysterious and kept staying in Chendaham's smithy. He rented Chendaham's smithy, and Chendaham spent all of his 100,000 silver and bought countless red copper, all of which were sent to the blacksmith. Paved backyard. 5 days later, Chen Lei returned the smithy to Chen Sledgehammer, and left the smithy with 9 smooth copper pillars on his back. "What the is this kid doing?" Chen the Hammer looked curiously at the copper pillar in Chen Lei's hands, but he didn't understand what was in the hands of Chen Lei, and Chen Lei didn't have to explain to Chen the Hammer in the slightest to satisfy his curiosity. Chen Lei returned home and buried the 9 copper pillars around his home at a specific orientation. Then, he pressed them on the 9 copper pillars. The 9 copper pillars suddenly changed, and the smooth surface seemed to create countless patterns out of nothing. Network, turned into 9 dragons, wrapped around the copper pillars, the dragon headed to the sky, straight to fly into the clouds. Then, invisible waves spouted from Lomko and went straight into the sky. For a moment, dark clouds came from all sides and condensed in the sky. Then, lightnings fell on the copper pillars. Converged in copper pillars and stored. With my current ability, it is already the limit to arrange the first-order Jiulong array in Jiulong, but with this Jiulong array in Jiulong, my training speed can be increased 10 times and 100 times. Chen Lei was very pleased to see that the Kowloon Jiulei array had been successful. The thunder cloud in the sky split for 2 hours before it disappeared, while Chen Lei was sitting in the middle of the 9 copper pillars, carrying out the exercises in the Lei Di Jing, and the 9 copper pillars instantly gave out a trace of finesse. Pure electric light, submerged in Chen Lei's body. These electro-optic conversions are the purest true qi. With the operation of the Lei Di Jing Gong, Chen Lei turned into his own use. The true qi in his body is growing at a rate that is visible to the naked eye. Father Chen, Mother Chen, and younger sister Chen Chainer saw Chen Lei making such a magic circle at home. Although they were curious, they didn't ask much. Since they practiced the exercises that Chen Lei gave them, they knew that in Chen Lei something absolutely happened to them, and this kind of thing is by no means what they can ask. The movements made by Chen Lei naturally shocked the entire Chen family. Although some people were curious, now everyone is watching. I don't know what the use of Chen Lei's thing is. With the help of the Kowloon Thunder, Chen Lei's practice can be said to be thousands of miles a day. In less than 10 days, he has broken through to the third layer of the true atmosphere, and his true combat power can be crushed. Opponents on the 9th level of the Qi realm can even use special means to kill the strongmen on the Ningyuan level. And the strong Ningyuan realm is not too much in the entire Qin family. Within Qingyang town and even the Broken Mountain City, the strong Ningyuan realm is already a real master. This Kowloon Jule array is only effective for myself. I want my parents and young sisters to improve their strength quickly. I can only rely on elixir. Chen Lei has been thinking about how to quickly improve the strength of his parents and younger sisters. If he can arrange a mini spiritual array, he can also quickly improve the strength of his father and younger sisters, but even the smallest one Ling Zhen, the complexity is 10 times more difficult than Jiulong in Jiulong, and there is also a lack of materials for arranging miniature Jiulingjin in Qingyang town. Therefore, this plan has been abandoned by Chen Lei, but it was decided to train to make some elixir, first improve the cultivation of parents and younger sisters. Chen Lei was repaired to the peak of the Emperor's realm a century ago, and has been trapped in the peak of the Emperor's realm. In the following 1,000 years, he tried countless ways to break through the Emperor's realm and enter a new field without success. In this process, he has thoroughly studied various methods such as the method of battle, elixir, runes, magpies, and refining tools, and has achieved extraordinary achievements. If he wants to find an opportunity to break through the realm of the Emperor, he will eventually fail. This also allowed him to master vast knowledge and methods. Although these methods could not help him break through the peak of the great Emperor, it was an invaluable asset to use in the realm of true Qi. This kind of Kowloon Jule array is just the most common small means. Like to respect students, please collect www.ntlnovel.com to respect the students' literature to update the fastest. Supreme Rebirth Chapter 7, Red Fire Snow Flow Dan. Chapter 7. Father, I want Chen Lei to die. In the home of Chen Ying, an upper room was full of pungent herbal smell. On the bed, a guy with a plaster board all over his body, his voice was filled with endless resentment and resentment. It was Chen Lei who interrupted the whole body's bones. Destroy Tanning of Takashi Takeda. Looking at the increasingly decadent Chen Ying, Chen Zhuchuan's heart cut like a knife. Chen Ying is his only son. He has extraordinary talents. He originally had a bright future, and even had the potential to become the next owner of the Chen family. But now, he has become a lying man in bed, complaining all day, and a grumpy waste man. The culprit is Chen Lei. Chen Zhuchuan could not wait to hold Chen Lei under his palm, but with Chen Tangxian guarding, he did not dare to start. Father, I must kill Chen Lei, and Chen Tangxian, who actually protects Chen Lei's little mess, he will also die. On the hospital bed, Chen Ying gritted his teeth and his mind was already extremely distorted. He felt that the entire world was full of darkness. The wicked spirit in his heart was burning his heart, giving him the desire to destroy the entire world. Seeing the distressed son, Chen Zhuchuan's intentions of killing grew deeper and his expression became colder. Yinger, rest assured, whether it is Chen Lei or Chen Tangxian, you will pay the price. After saying this, Chen Zhuchuan seemed to have made up some kind of determination, arranged for people to take good care of Chen Ying, and went out of Qingyang town by himself. Father, mother, sister-in-law, how is your cultivation progress? On this day, Chen Lei had finished his cultivation. After eating, he asked his parents and younger sisters about their cultivation progress. Father Chen smiled with a smile on his face and said, Liar, the true Qi in his father's body has been transformed into the true Qi of the 9 Nether Hades. The 9 wind claws have also been practiced. Although they have not reached the level of mastery, their strength is at least better than before. It has increased more than 10 times. Now, as a father, Xiuwei has already reached the 9th level great consummation of true energy. In one step, he can break through the Ningyuan realm and become a true warrior. Chen Mantang did not expect that his qualifications were mediocre, but after practicing this 9 Nether Hades, he was soaring. He originally thought that it would not be possible to become a warrior in Ningyuan realm in this life, but this was only a few days. It actually reached the 9th level great consummation state of Zhenqi, and only needed an opportunity to break through the Ningyuan realm, and he felt that the Ningyuan realm was not his limit at all, and he could even become the Grand Master of the Qisha realm. Master. And Chen Lei's mother's cultivation has also reached the 9-story perfect state of true vibe. Her practice of ice and fire rituals is very suitable for her body of ice and fire, and the martial arts of ice and fire ritual swords are also an introduction to training. As for Chen Lei's younger sister, she has already broken through to Wu Jigang, and has become a master in the first layer of Jinqi. At the age of 11, she has become a master in Jinqi. This qualification is the first genius of the Chen family. Father, mother, this is a method of raising interest rates. After cultivation, you can hide the cultivation. Unless there is a special secret method, it is difficult to see your true cultivation. Chen Lei also took out a method of interest rate raising for parents and younger sisters to practice. He also practiced this method of interest rate raising, so that he could conceal his true cultivation, otherwise, they would progress too quickly and there would be no way explanation. Great, I'm still worried that the growth is too fast, I can't explain it to others. Chen Mantang said happily when he saw this method of raising interest rates. Mother Chen and Chen Yi also kept the interest rate increasing method in their minds, and earnestly realized that it was not difficult to practice the interest rate collection method. Just one night, several people had already begun to use it. Chen's father and mother Chen's repairs were maintained on the 5th floor of the Jinqi realm, while the younger sister Chen Yi maintained the repairs on the 8th floor of the Wuji realm. Seeing the parents' introduction to the cultivation of interest rates, Chen Lei put his heart down and said, "Father, mother, I have to go out these days, 3 days in the morning and 10 days in the evening." Father Chen and mother Chen already knew that their son was very human at this time. There must be important things to do when they went out, and they didn't ask much. They just urged, "You must pay attention to your safety when you go here." Chen Lei nodded, and then took out a pack of glittering wooden needles from his arms and gave them to his father, saying, "Father, this thing is called Aoki Thunder Light God Needle, which can break the body's true element. There are 3 10 roots are left for you to defend yourself. If you use them well, you can kill masters on the 3rd and 4th floors of Ningyuan realm. It's too expensive, you keep it." When Chen Mantang heard Chen Lei's words, he didn't dare accept it. He had never heard of the magic needles on the 3rd or 4th floor of Ningyuan realm. Chen Lei smiled and shoved Aoki Leguang's needle into his father's hand, and said, "Baby, I'm leaving now, so be careful at home." Chen Mantang nodded and sent Chen Lei to leave. After leaving the town of Qingyang, Chen Lei went straight into Qingyang Mountain. The reason why he left was to prepare for a few herbs in Qingyang Mountain and refine a furnace of red fire snow ludan. The bottleneck elixir requires only 1 red fire and snow flowing elixir, and the helper can break through from the real Qi state to the Ning Yuan state. Masters of Jinqi realm are called warriors, while masters of Ningyuan realm are called warriors. Although they are only 1 order apart, their strength is very different. Generally speaking, 1 warrior can easily kill 20 or 30. The warrior, Chen Lei's father and mother have already reached the level of the warrior's great consummation. If they want to rely on their own efforts, it may take 3 to 5 years before they can break through the Ningyuan realm and become a warrior. This is actually considered progress. The speed is fast, but it is clear that Chen Lei does not have these 3 to 5 years, and he will have to save this time. Therefore, this red fire has become the best choice. Red fire and snow flow dandelion is the best elixir that can help people break through the Ningyuan realm. Not only does it have no side effects, it can also help people condense the true yuan, temper the body, and wash the muscles. Dan Fang, who is red and snowy, is an undeclared site of a Dan Tao shrine on another continent. However, the lord of this Dan Tao shrine once chased Chen Lei with several other emperors, and finally Chen Lei countered killing the Holy Lord and destroying the Dandao Holy Land. All the Danfangs in this Dandao Holy Land used the technique of alchemy to become the trophy of Chen Lei. At present, the elixir suitable for Chen Lei's parents is the red fire snow lu dan, and the raw materials of the red fire snow lu dan are not too precious, so Chen Lei decided to find some in the Qingyang Mountains. See if you can get together the raw materials for refining the red fire snow lu dan, and refining a furnace of red fire snow lu dan. In the image of Chen Leiyin, deep in the Qingyang Mountains, there are many red melt grasses and snowgrass grasses needed to make red fire and snow lilac, but these 2 spirit grasses are grown in 2 different valleys. Red melting grass grows in the Valley of Flames, while snowgrass grows in the Frost Valley. Except for two kinds of spirit grass, Karonko and Zoankeo, other auxiliary herbs can be purchased in Broken Mountain City, 100 miles away. In fact, two kinds of spirit grass, red grass and snowgrass, can also be bought in Broken Hill City, but the price is prohibitively expensive, and according to Chen Lei's memory, there are two in the Valley of Flames and the Frost Valley. Pieces of treasure, it is these two pieces of treasure that caused these two strange places. Now he has the opportunity, naturally, to take these two pieces of treasure into his hands. Chen Lei made his way to the Frost Valley all the way. Along the way, he encountered some first-order spirit grasses, plucked them, and threw them into the medicine basket behind him. It's too inconvenient to have no storage treasure. If you have the chance, you must first put a storage ring on your body. As he walked, Chen Lei complained, remembering the thunder ring on his hand at the beginning, but it was a treasure that could fit a planet, but now he is even the lowest-ranked first-order storage treasure. No, everything needs to start from scratch. After more than 50 miles into the Qingyang Mountains, the mountain road gradually became rugged, the surrounding woods became denser and denser, and numerous vines were entangled. Chen Lei was struggling. Suddenly, the sound of a weapon clash came from the deep forest. Someone is fighting. Chen Lining listened attentively, and a faint voice came. Chen Fan, today is your death. If you want to blame your good brother Chen Lei. Whoever made them offend our royal family will kill you today. At that time, I will let you have your head. It was delivered to Chen Lei. At that time, Chen Lei's expression would be very exciting. Wang Jifu, you deceive more and count less. What kind of hero are you? You have the ability and Lao Tzu to single out. There was a vague voice of Chen Fan. Single-headed, you are too naive, Chen Fan, do you think it is still a family performance martial arts field? Single-headed can also be, but it is a group of us to pick you one, and today, do ant want to live a few leave, kill. Subsequently, the sound of a more intense weapon collision came, mixed with some muffled sounds of injury, not good. Chen Lei clarified the direction of the sound, rushed towards the fighting place at full speed, and at the same time issued a long howling, shouting, Chen Fan, hold on, I'm Chen Lei, I'm here to save you. Chen Fan, who is under siege, has been immersed in blood and will soon be unable to hold on. Hearing Chen Lei's voice, a force was born out of nothing in his body. The sword in his hand turned over the sword flowers to protect himself. Just blocked a round of onslaught by several rivals. Chen Lei is here, just to let him watch his good brother die in front of him. Don't rush to send Chen Fan on the road before Chen Lei appears, and then send Chen Fan on the road. Wang Jifu and others also heard Chen Lei's howling, but instead of rushing to kill, the offensive slowed down. Soon, Chen Lei's figure emerged from the dense forest. Like to respect students, please collect www.ntlnovel.com to respect the students' literature to update the fastest. Supreme Rebirth Chapter 8, News. Chapter 8 Message. Chen Lei, it's nice to see your good brother die in front of you. Wang Jifu saw Chen Lei at first glance, and the sword in his hand suddenly cast a layer of fiery red energy, exuding fiery high temperature, severely chopped off towards Chen Fan's neck. Just now Wang Jifu has not used all his strength, and now Chen Lei appears. The method of torture is to let Chen Lei watch his good brother die in front of him. Therefore, Wang Jifu directly mobilized all the true energy in his body and blessed it on the sword in his hand, and it was cut off. Wang Jifu's self-cultivation is the second floor of the real state of Qi. Now he is going all out to fight. Even if Chen Fan desperately defends, it will not help, it is impossible to stop Wang Jifu's charged blow. Feeling a sting coming from the neck, Chen Fan's eyes opened angrily, and he did not retreat. The sword dance in his hand turned into a white light and yelled, Chen Lei, leave me alone, run away. Having said that, rushing to Wang Jifu with the momentum of a mad tiger, even if dead, Chen Lei should be given time to escape. Do you think it's useful to be desperate? I want you to know that in front of Ben Shao, you are just a poor ant who can be pinched to death at any time. Feeling Chen Fan's desperation, Wang Jifu's mouth sneered with a sneer. In front of his absolute strength, desperation was just a joke. Chen Lei saw that Chen Fan's life was hanging on the line, and 5 purple electric lights have been shot between his shaking hands. These 5 purple electric lights seemed to ignore the distance in space. Almost as soon as Chen Lei Gang sent out, he had already crossed the void and landed on 5 people including Wang Jifu. The siege of Chen Fan's body suddenly turned into a fly ash in the blink of an eye, and the 5 flew out in a flash. And taking this opportunity, Chen Lei jumped in front of Chen Fan. "Chen Fan, how are you?" Chen Lei saw Chen Fan with blood all over his body, and asked with some worry. "Brother, I'm fine, these are all flesh wounds." Seeing Chen Lei coming, Chen Fan finally let out a sigh of relief, no longer had the strength to stand, and fell to the ground with a plop. Chen Lei quickly took out the hemostatic powder and dispersed the stasis from his arms, and used it externally and internally to deal with the wounds for Chen Fan. Then he turned to look at the 5 disciples of the Wang family who woke up and turned around. "Chen Lei, what demon method did you just apply?" Wang Jifu saw Chen Lei as if he was looking at a devil. Just now he didn't react at all, and his right hand turned directly into fly ash. This kind of thing has far exceeded the level that his IQ can understand, and he classifies it as a demon. Chen Lei sneered, "The dead don't need to know so much." After that, he picked up a long sword from the ground and walked towards Wang Jifu and others. You can't kill us." Wang Jifu saw that Chen Lei came as if he was killing a god, and was so frightened that he couldn't even speak. Chen Lei was unmoved, walked in front of a disciple of the Wang family, without hesitation, and slashed his head with a sword. "What?" The scene scared Wang Jifu into a delusion, begging for mercy. "Chen Lei, don't kill me, I have the news you need." Chen Lei turned a deaf ear to Wang Jifu's words, and beheaded another Wang family disciple. Don't you care about your father's safety? He is in danger of death." Wang Jifu did not dare to sell Guanzi anymore, and he hurriedly told what he knew. The sword in Chen Lei's hand didn't stay at all, and he beheaded another disciple of the Wang family. Then he turned around and looked at Wang Jifu. At this time, Chen Lei, in Wang Jifu's eyes, was already a murderer, but with only a look, he scared him to piss. "Tell you what you know, and I can leave you a whole body." The sword in Chen Lei's hand pointed at Wang Jifu and said coldly. Wang Jifu also settled his heart at this time, and said, "If you swear to spare my life, I will tell you, otherwise, you will kill me and I will not say." This news was the only life-saving straw in Wang Jifu's hands. How could he say so easily? Chen Lei frowned, and Wang Jifu still seemed to have some ideas and methods. At this point, he still dared to talk to him about the conditions, and thought a little, and said, "Okay, I promise you, as long as what you said is true, I will spare you." "You have to swear to God." Wang Jifu was very suspicious and said to Chen Lei. Chen Lei's face was displeased, and Wang Jifu was shot again and again with a sword. He said, "You are not qualified to bargain. I said that if you spare your life, you won't kill you, believe it or not, I'll kill you now." When Wang Jifu saw that Chen Lei was angry, he didn't dare to say more nonsense, and said, "Okay, I hope you can keep your word. We are ordered to set up an ambush in the Valley of Flames and surround your father Chen Mantang. When you stepped on to the Valley of Flames, you encountered Chen Fan and others on the road, afraid of the news leaking." Chen Lei asked, "How do you know my father is coming to the Valley of Flames, and where did he get the news?" He didn't even know his father was going to the Valley of Flames. Now he actually learned from the disciples of the Wang family that this was really beyond his expectation and he had to ask for it. Wang Jifu said, "The news came from a senior elder of your Chen family. We need to use our royal family's hands to kill Chen Mantang. As for who this senior elder is, I don't know." "The senior Chen family? Is it Chen Zhuchuan?" Chen Lei thought for a moment. Now, his veins only have great resentment with Chen Zhuchuan and Chen Ying's father and son. Other Chen family disciples will not use such mean methods to frame them, so Chen Lei ranked Chen Zhuchuan as the first doubt. Object. Of course, he can't be sure that Chen Zhuchuan did the wrong thing, but this is enough to alert him. Chen Lei asked a few more questions, but Wang Jifu didn't know much. He could explain everything he could. "Please give me a life," everything I know said. Wang Jifu knelt before Chen Lei and begged for mercy. "Since I promised you to spare your life, I wouldn't break my word, but death is avoided and living sin cannot escape. After that, Chen Lei took a palm shot on Wang Jifu's dantian, revising Wang Jifu's completely. Wang Jifu's eyes showed a gruesome expression, but he did not dare to show it, but he secretly vowed that if Chen Lei falls into his hands in the future, Chen Lei must be repaid 100 times. You can roll. Chen Lei then said to Wang Jifu. Regardless of the life of the remaining disciples of the Wang family, Wang Jifu got up and fled towards the distance. Chen Lei killed another Wang family child with a sword, and threw the sword at the feet of Chen Fan. Chen Fan glanced at Wang Jifu who fled outwards, suddenly kicked the sword with a kick, crossed the distance of 100 meters in a blink, pierced through the heart of Wang Jifu, and said coldly, "My elder brother promised to spare your life, but I have never promised you anything, and if you have no resentment in your heart, it's okay to forgive you a dog, and you still want to get revenge, just to die." The bitterness in Wang Jifu's eyes just now, but he did not escape his eyes at all. Naturally he would not let the tiger return to the mountain. Later, Chen Fan said, "Brother, uncle is in danger. We must rush back to inform them as soon as possible." Chen Lei shook his head and said, "It's too late, we'll wait for them in the Valley of Flames." After speaking, Chen Lei picked up Chen Fan and hurried toward the Valley of Flames. Soon, Chen Lei and Chen Fan rushed to the Valley of Flames. There is a magma lake deep in the Valley of Flames. Around the magma lake, there is a fire maple forest. In the fire maple forest, there are groups of fire apes. These fire apes, mostly first-order monsters, have only a few variant monsters, reaching second order. In addition to the fire ape, in the Valley of Flames, there are various numbers of salamanders. Adult salamanders have fire crystals in them, which can be used to make liangdan. The medicine is just that liangdan's medicine is overbearing and will cause certain damage to the user's meridians. However, even if this is the case, liangdan is still in short supply, and the fire crystal in the salamander has become the most sought-after thing. In the fire maple forest around the magma lake, there are a lot of red melting grasses. These red melting grasses are all urban grasses, but there is a certain danger if you want to pick them. You need to avoid the fire apes because these red melting grasses it is the food that fire ape likes. Chen Lei found a safe place, put Chen Fan down, found a few rocks, carved some strange patterns on it, and buried them around Chen Fan in different directions. Then, he said to Chen Fan, "You don't want to be in this circle, do you understand?" When Chen Fan saw Chen Lei speak solemnly, he nodded. There is nothing he can do to help Chen Lei in his current situation. It is already the best help for Chen Lei without dragging Chen Lei's hind legs. After Chen Lei settled Chen Fan, he flew into the Valley of Flames like an electric power and explored the terrain. Soon, Chen Lei completed the terrain survey, and then he kept busy. It took Chen Lei more than 2 hours to finish the work. Then, he came to Chen Fan, sat down to adjust his breath, and waited for the enemy to come. Nothing happened overnight. The next day and a half, the calm Flame Valley was lively, and a team of people rushed to the Flame Valley. When this team arrived at the Valley of Flames, they were very cautious. They sent a few experts to investigate the Valley of Flames first, but these experts, no matter who they were, turned a blind eye to Chen Lei and Chen Fan, as if they could not see them. Chen Lei and Chen Fan, however, see these people clearly. Chen Fan was still nervous at first, afraid of being discovered by these people, but Chen Lei smiled and said, "Don't panic. Although this magic array I set up is only first order, it is not yet discoverable by these people." Fantasy. Chen Fan listened for a moment. When will his elder brother be able to form the way? But this is obviously not the time to ask questions, so he had to press the curiosity of his heart and quietly watched the movement of the enemy outside. From the above, we can see that these people are all the Wang family. There are 20 of these people, each of them exudes a domineering an atmosphere. It can be seen that it is the elite of blood and blood. It is averagely repaired at 5 or more floors in the true atmosphere. The first person is wearing a cloak and wearing a silver wolf head mask. It also exudes the breath that is only strong in the Yuan realm. Like to respect students, please collect www.ntlnovel.com to respect the students' literature to update the fastest. Supreme Rebirth Chapter 9, Jogong Fire Formation. Chapter 9 Fire Palace. Seeing this man in a cloak and wearing a silver wolf head mask, Chen Lei was uneasy. The blood cloak and silver wolf head mask were standard equipment above the captain of the Blood Wolf Bandit. How could it appear here? Is this person the Wang family, or the Blood Wolf Bandit, or is the Wang family already colluding with the Blood Wolf Bandit? For a time, countless mysteries circled in Chen Lei's mind. Without unlocking these mysteries, Chen Lei's heart was troubled. Under the order of the Silver Wolf Mask Man, 20 masters quickly selected favorable terrain and ambushed. A moment later, a scout rushed forward and whispered something to the Silver Wolf Mask Man. A silver wolf passed through the eyes of the male, and he also swept into the dense forest to hide his figure. After less than a column of incense time, entering the mountain road of the Valley of Flames, there was a burst of conversation. Brother Mantang, please trouble you to accompany your brothers for another trip this time. This elder Chendrio doesn't know what nerves are going on. Our team is still in the rest period, but they just arrange a task for us, and the task is so difficult. When I complete the task at one time, I have to rest for 2 months before saying anything. A man carrying a huge horn bow can't help complaining. Their team of hunters has just finished the mission shortly and hasn't fully recovered yet. Now it is going to be a mission again. Excellent elders, they say nothing will be done on this mission. Say so much to do, this time the task is not difficult, but the task is paid 3 times more than usual. Anything to complain about, everyone will work hard. If you are lucky, we can complete the task this afternoon and get a fire crystal. Chen Mantang said with a smile. Brother Mantang is right, all of us are upset. We have hunted monsters like salamanders before. Just be careful, there won't be any problems. Finishing this ticket is enough for us all to rest for half a year. Brother, I heard that your boy has achieved gratifying results in this adult assessment. We haven't congratulated you yet, said a big man with a huge axe. That is, we also heard about Chen Lei. This little guy is really upset. The other 2 in the team also said one after another, congratulating Chen Mantang. On the face of Chen Mantang, a flower bloomed with a smile. Others praised him for nothing, and praised his son, which was really talking about his heart. Soon, the group of 5 talked and laughed, and entered the Valley of Flames. Is my father really here? Seeing Chen Mantang and his party walking into the valley, besides being surprised, Chen Lei was Senhan. It seems that the news he received from Wang Jifu is true. Indeed, the Chen family disclosed the information intentionally. Otherwise, the Wang family, how can I grasp the precise course of action of my father and others? Being here, I will definitely take out all the black sheep of the Chen family. At this time, Chen Lei's heart was writhing with endless killing intentions. He did not allow the tragedy of the Chen family to happen again. Therefore, the black sheep of the Chen family must be eliminated as soon as possible. Kill. As soon as Chen Mantang and others stepped into the Valley of Flames, suddenly a command from the middle of the valley, 20 disciples of the Wang family jumped out and surrounded Chen Mantang with 5 layers. A man in a cloak and a silver wolf mask stepped out slowly and said coldly, Chen Mantang, today is your death. Are you the Wang family? Seeing the enemies surrounding himself and others, Chen Mantang asked solemnly. Yes, the 2 King Chen contradictions are getting deeper. When you meet in the wild, it must be a situation where you die. Chen Mantang, you still have to catch it, so you can still have a decent way of death, otherwise you will start to work in a while. I am afraid no one can leave the whole body. How do you know we are here? Chen Mantang looked at the Wang family who was surrounded by himself and others. He was suspicious. How could it be so clever? Except for the team of the demon hunting team, only Chen and his parents knew it. It is obvious that the Wang family was informed and ambushed here in advance. The silver wolf masked man sneered, you don't need to know this. Are you surrendering or resisting? Everyone follow me, we kill. Chen Mantang shouted, the first one to kill, and went out to Guai. Kill. The members of the demon hunting team also know that today may be a mortal ending, but if they surrender, it is simply impossible. After hearing Chen Mantang's words, they draw out their blades one by one and follow Chen Mantang to the outside. Kill. What a death. The silver wolf masked man sneered and shouted, "Kill them." Suddenly, the disciples of the Wang family waved their weapons one by one and killed Chen Mantang and others. For a moment, someone in the hunting team saw blood and was injured. "Get out of me." At this moment, Chen Mantang no longer concealed his cultivation behaviors, and fully exerted his actions. Jiu Yin's wind claws turned into shadows of black claws. In a blink of an eye, the three-man company weapon held in front of him was torn into pieces, and blood rained pouring down. What? Chen Mantang's attack immediately frightened the enemies who besieged them. Although the soldiers in the battlefield have experienced hundreds of battles, they have never seen such a terrible method of death. Rush! Chen Mantang gave a loud scream, and took the lead, rushing out of the encirclement. The silver wolf masked man's eyes were cold and angrily screamed, "Waste, chase me, if you let them escape, you will all die today." These people in the Wang family also know the means of masking the silver wolf, and they are not afraid of death, and they chase after Chen Mantang and others. At this time, Chen Lei suddenly appeared and yelled, "Father, withdraw here." When Chen Mantang saw Chen Lei, he suddenly hesitated, why was Liar here? However, at this time, the situation was urgent, and he couldn't think much about it, and took the other 4 people, and quickly withdrew in the direction of Chen Lei. "Chen Lei, your little is also here. It's great, this time saves a lot of money." When the silver wolf masked man saw Chen Lei, a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes, and he flew towards Chen Leifei quickly. A wolf-toothed sword had been drawn in the air, and he severely pierced his head toward Chen Lei. "Get me up." Chen Lei watched the silver wolf masked man falling down in the air, sighed coldly, a pillar of fire rose abruptly from the ground, and hit the silver wolf masked man in the air. The silver wolf masked man was in mid-air at this moment, feeling the crisis coming, forcing his luck, he moved 2 meters in the air, avoiding the impact of the pillar of fire, but when he fell to the ground, a trace of blood came from the corner of his mouth. She shed, forcing her luck to avoid the pillar of fire just now, and he had suffered minor internal injuries. At this time, pillars of fire rose from the ground, and some disciples of the Wang family who could not escape were hit by the pillars of fire and were instantly burned into fly ash. Just in a blink of an eye, more than 10 disciples of the Wang family were buried in the pillar of fire. How come there is a formation? The silver wolf masked man saw a famous disciple of the Wang family buried in the pillar of fire, and could not help but crack his teeth and grit his teeth, but he couldn't figure out why there was a matrix formation here. Chen Lei looked at the silver wolf with a smile, and said, "This, you don't need to know. Today, don't you want to leave alive? The dead don't need to know so many things." The silver wolf masked man sneered, "Just because you guys who haven't even reached the Ningyuan realm, want to leave me, it's just a foolish dream. If you want to stay, you will stay. If you want to leave, just leave. What can you do for me?" Chen Lei did not talk nonsense with the silver wolf masked man, and said, "Try it." After finishing speaking, a few fiery red lines suddenly lighted up on the ground, turning into a huge wall of fire, burning towards the silver wolf masked man. The silver wolf masked man plugged an elixir into his mouth, and his breath suddenly became extremely powerful. A blood-colored vitality shield was revealed from the body, covering the silver wolf masked male, and the blood-colored vitality shield would be raging. All stopped, then, the silver wolf masked male suddenly trembled under his feet, and a cloud of dust exploded around him. He was like a bow-struck arrow, his body and sword were one, and he rushed straight towards Chen Lei. Even if there is a giant mountain in front, it seems to be split by it. Chen Lei successively destroyed the Jiugong fire array under the cloth, and the pillars of fire rose one after another, blocking the silver wolf masked male who flew by. It's just that the power of the silver wolf masked man's body shield is really amazing. He penetrated the 9 pillars of fire and flew in front of Chen Lei. Although the body shield has only a thin layer at this time, it is clear that he has forcibly passed through the range of Chen Leibu's formations. With his power on the 2nd floor of Yuanyuan, he can cut Chen Lei in half with only one stroke. However, before the silver wolf masked man's sword was waved, a blue light appeared in front of him. This blue light was as fast as lightning. It was the silver wolf masked man that rushed out from the last pillar of fire. It was emitted at the moment of fire, and the timing was wonderful. In the blink of an eye, the blue light came. The thin layer of vitality shield did not stop the blue light at all. Penetrated into the silver wolf mask male, boom. The silver wolf mask man fell like a stone, fell heavily from the air, and fell down in front of Chen Lei. A purple current pulsated in his body, and a smell came from the silver wolf mask man. Just now, Chen Lei used the Aoki Thunder Light Acupuncture. This mystery technique is best at breaking human body protection and is extremely powerful. The Aoki Thunder Light Acupuncture contains powerful destructive lightning energy. After the silver wolf mask male scorched his internal organs directly, the silver wolf mask male at this time, although not dead, was not much different from the dead. Chen Lei raised his hand, inhaled the silver wolf mask man's fangs and knives that fell under his feet into the palm of his hand, brushed a few knives, and picked off the silver wolf mask man's tendons and hamstrings. Although the confidence in the Aoki Leguang magic needle, the silver wolf mask man should not have any ability to resist, but he still has to be careful. After solving the silver wolf mask man, Chen Lei looked up at the other Wang family disciples trapped in the Jiugong fire array. At this time, there were only 4 or 5 people alive in the Jiugong fire array. Chen Lei destroyed the array. Fire snakes captured these Wang disciples and brought them to him. Like to respect students, please collect www.ntlnovel.com to respect the students' literature to update the fastest. Supreme Rebirth Chapter 10, Crisis. Laugh. With a soft whistle, Chen Lei cut the mask on the male face of the silver wolf mask directly, revealing his true content. Wang Zhanyuan, it's you. After seeing the true face of the man under the mask, Chen Mantang could not help saying. Wang Zhanyuan's face was vulgar, and he said fiercely, yes, it's your young master. This time I counted it as an admission, but I don't believe you dare to kill me. If you kill me, the entire Chen family will have to be buried for me. Father, who is Wang Zhanyuan, who dares to say this? Chen Lei asked his father that he did not know who this Wang Zhanyuan was. Wang Zhanyuan is a genius of the Wang family. He worshipped the demon cult and is a formal disciple of the demon cult. This demon cult is the first demon in our northwest region. It turned out to be demon sect. It was clear to Chen Lei's mind that this demon religion was indeed the first religion in the northwest territories. However, in the eyes of Chen Lei, this demon religion was not even a third-rate sect. The demon religion of the year even gave him they are not worth mentioning. However, he had not dealt with the demon sect a lot in the previous life. After the Blood Wolf bandit group was overthrown, he left this area of the northwest and rushed to the capital of the great empire. Since then, he has never returned here, naturally. Knowing the fierce power of the demons in this area, but Chen Lei is not very clear, but Chen Mantang is aware of it. This demons is definitely a behemoth that is difficult to provoke to the current Chen family. It's troublesome. You can't kill and you can't kill, you can't let it go. How can this be good? Chen Mantang was really like an ant on a hot pot at this time, and he had no idea at all. Ha ha ha, you are a group of people. Since you do'n't dare to kill me, then you dare to let me go. Today, I do'n't think this happened. Otherwise, it will anger the teacher behind me, your Chen family. Definitely it will lead to destruction. To shut up. When Chen Lei saw Wang Zhanyuan at such a point, he was still so mad, he slaps him across the face, slaps Wang Zhanyuan full of teeth. Dog, dare you treat me this way, aren't you afraid I will destroy your door? Wang Zhanyuan growled. Chen Lei sneered. The blood of the previous Chen family was a scar in his heart, and it was also an inverse scale. In this life, he would never allow the same thing to happen. If anyone dares to move the Chen family, he will fight back with thunder. The enemy of the world does not hesitate. He glanced at Wang Zhanyuan and said, whether it is the royal family or the demon religion, as long as you dare to commit the Chen family, I will make them come back. If you are dead today, do'n't be delusional. If you can answer me a few question, then, I can give you a happy life, otherwise, I will let you know what it means to die. Hearing Chen Lei's words, Wang Zhanyuan's face changed suddenly. The reason why he was not afraid just now was because the demon taught him to be the backer, but now seeing that Chen Lei did not eat this set, he couldn't help panic. Don't you be Chen think about more than 3,000 lives at home? Chen Lei took another shot on Wang Zhenyuan's face and said coldly, now you still want to threaten me, find death, and say, who asked you to kill my father, and what is your relationship with the Blood Wolf bandit group, why were their gear? Wang Zhenyuan laughed and said, do you think I will tell you, don't dream, I will die and won't let you succeed. The demon cult and the Blood Wolf bandit will take revenge on me, your Chen family is over. After speaking, a little blood shed in the corner of his mouth, and his breath was completely gone. Seeing his life was hopeless, Wang Zhenyuan actually took poison by himself. What a lunatic, what do we do now? Chen Mantang and several others had no idea at this time, and all looked at Chen Lei. When Chen Lei saw Wang Zhenyuan wearing a silver ring on his finger, he took it off directly. This is a storage treasure ring. Although it is only a first-order treasure, it is extremely rare in a small place like Qinyang town. It has a cube inside. Space around meters. The prohibition on the ring disappeared with the death of Wang Zhenyuan. Chen Lei penetrated into the ring, and found that most of it contained some elixir and a few exercises, and some gold tickets. After some searching, Chen Lei found a letter. Chen Lei took the letter out and opened it. It was actually a letter written by Elder Chen Zhuchuan to the Blood Wolf bandit group. The content of the letter roughly meant that Chen Zhuchuan had agreed to join the Blood Wolf bandit group and was willing to do internal response. After learning the contents of this letter, Chen Mantang and others were shocked and angry. Chen Zhuchuan actually wanted to betray the Chen family, take refuge in the Blood Wolf bandit, and lead the wolves into the room. If it is successful, the entire Qinjizhuang will be destroyed. Once, by that time, their wives and children, parents, brothers and sisters will die tragically under the iron hooves of the Blood Wolf bandit. This beast. Several people in the demon hunting team could not help yelling, and Chen Zhuchuan was nothing. The matter is too big, and we must rush back immediately to inform the owner. Later, several people decided to rush back immediately to report the matter. Chen Lei also agreed with the decision of his father and others, because this matter is indeed important. He did not expect that what would happen in a few years would actually happen in advance. Obviously, Chen Zhuchuan could not avenge himself because his son was destroyed. That was the decision to take the risk. Chen Zhuchuan was too crazy. For his own self, it actually killed the lives of more than 3,000 people in the Chen family. Chen Mantang and others were furious in their hearts, and severely tortured the captured Wang family disciples. Unfortunately, these disciples only acted in obedience, and asked a few questions. Finally, the Wang family disciples were disposed of and hurried back. After returning to the Chen family, the 6 went straight to the main house where the owner lived. Dear man, please let me know. We want to meet the owner, and we have something to report. In front of the main house, Chen Mantang said to the guard of the main house. Some wait, I'll go and report. One of the guards gave a command and turned into the main house and went to inform. After a few moments, the guard returned and said, some people, please come with me. Having said that, the guard led the way, and a party followed the guard and entered the main house. After passing through several courtyards and entering a gate, he guarded, Elder Chen, the person who wants to see the owner is here. Okay, you can go down. Elder Chen gave a faint command, and the guard led him down. Then Elder Chen turned around and looked at several people in Chen Mantang. His face changed slightly, you want to see the owner? When Chen Lei and Chen Mantang saw the Elder Chen in front of them, they were also surprised. The Elder Chen in front of them was not others, but Elder Chen Zhuyo. Elder Chen, how are you? The owner? Chen Mantang asked. The owner is retreating. Today, the elder should take the rotation and take charge of guarding here. If you have any things, you can directly talk to the elder. Chen Zhuozhou said faintly, and there was a faint killer in his eyes. Chen Mantang, Chen Lei, and others secretly warned that what they said was important and could never be said to anyone other than the owner. Moreover, Chen Zhuchuan was the younger brother of Chen Zhuchuan. Chen Zhuchuan betrayed the Chen family. Who knew Chen Zhuchuan? Is there any problem? If they say things, it is tantamount to self-tracing. Chen Mantang and others looked at each other and shook their heads a little bit. Obviously, this thing must not be let Chen Zhuyo know. After reaching a consensus, Chen Mantang said, since the homeowner is retreating, we are not inconvenienced. It is not too late to wait for the homeowner to report before I leave. I will leave first. After speaking, Chen Mantang took Chen Lei with a few people and wanted to leave. Stop. As soon as Chen Lei and others were leaving, Chen Chaoyu suddenly called the crowd. Then, he stared at Chen Mantang and asked, Chen Mantang, the elder remembers to let you go to the Flame Valley to do the task. Why? You're back so soon, the mission is complete. Chen Mantang said, Elder Chen, forgive me. We encountered some other things on the way. We failed to reach the Valley of Flames and the task was not completed. But please rest assured that we will complete the task within the time specified by the elder. Chen Mantang kept a good eye and did not tell the truth to Chen Zhuochen. It's just that Chen Zhuoyue is not so easy to pass, and his body is getting colder and colder, and he continues to ask, what happened? Actually you can't even care about the task that the elder himself posted, say. At the last voice, there was a trace of real energy in Chen Zhuo's voice, which made everyone's heart airless. This. Faced with Chen Chao's continuous questioning, Chen Mantang couldn't make a good reason for a while. Seeing Chen Mantang hesitant, Chen Zhuoqi's murderousness became more and more intense, and he snorted coldly, what a courage to dare to deceive the elder, and he will not escape without waiting. Having said that, he actually slaps Chen Mantang over his head with one palm, and the palm wind is solid, and the killer is overflowing. If he shoots with one palm, he can definitely kill Chen Mantang. At the foot of Chen Mantang, he avoided Elder Chen's palm and screamed angrily, Elder Chen, what do you mean? The other 4 members of the demon hunting team were also shocked and furious, and unexpectedly Chen Zhuoqiu would suddenly kill. Why, shouldn't you die in the hands of Wang's family, and dare to come back, and don't even want to step out of this door today? Chen Qingyu finally showed his fangs. Did you disclose our news to the Wang family? Chen Mantang was shocked and angry, and finally understood why he and others were being ambushed. What is it? You must all die today, especially the puppy Chen Lei, abandoning my nephew Wu Ji and destroying my nephew's future, and death is not enough to atone for his sin. Chen Zhuoqi looked at Chen Lei coldly, and the killing and hatred in his eyes condensed into substance. Aren't you afraid of the punishment of the Chen family? Chen Mantang and others asked angrily. The Chen family rules, ha 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 ha. A few days later, the Chen family is no longer in this world, where's the family rules? Today, you all have to die. Chen Zhuoyai laughed, the true elements on his palms gathered, his powerful breath was revealed, and his murderous power was revealed. Like to respect students, please collect, www.ntlnovel.com, the fastest update of literature in respect of students.